Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. That's Steve Howson, and this is a little chat about Manchester United's midfield, because it's a bit of a funny one, our midfield, right? Because in some ways, I feel like we have got actual quality in midfield. Ugarte, Mainu, Casemiro's shown a bit of life, but it does seem like a bit of an issue as well, if that makes sense, because Mainu's been injured. What's his best position? Ugarte, some people may even say there's a few question marks there. Can he be relied upon in that midfield? Casemiro, how much is left in him? Where do you sort of judge United's midfield at the moment? When you look at it, do you think it's an issue? Do you feel any confidence in it? Where's your head at with it all?
I think it needs signings for sure. I think you're right. It's got a lot of people who can play different roles, Mason Mount included.
Yep.
In that. But because of the system that Amorim wants to play, there's not many natural suitors for any of those positions, Ugarte aside. But I think he needs a progressor with legs alongside him. I'm not sure who that is. I'm not sure if that can be Mainu. Not sure. Pretty sure it probably can't be Bruno. Bruno, weirdly, has been incredibly effective in the last couple of months in this team without really... he's sort of flitted between a couple of different roles in it. There isn't a natural fitting position for him. He's adapting to play either higher up or further back. There isn't that middle ground where he tends to exist, like a number 10 in a 4-2-3-1, for example. Casemiro, yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be packing up a U-Haul come the end of the season. Mainu, my head tells me that he would probably do quite well as one of the number 10s.
I agree with that completely.
I don't quite think he's got the physicality in terms of speed, agility, tenacity to play the deeper role, even though I think he's got... If he had the range, like if he was hitting those like little switches out, I wouldn't mind him seeing played a little bit there, because I think he can certainly receive the ball with pressure, get on a turn, move the ball up the pitch. Can he do that? Yeah, I think he can do that. But can him and Ugarte cover behind what's probably going to be very offensive wing-backs that are probably going to spend more time going that way than going that way? When we're at our... You have to plan for your team to be optimal, don't you?
Yeah.
So that's not a back five. It's a back three.
Yeah.
And those, Dorgu and whoever it is as right wing back being a bit more offensive. You probably want to see Ahmad technically played in midfield as one of those sort of inverted 10s, wing type positions. So I think we've got loads of jigsaw pieces, but we can't really make a jigsaw out of what we've got. I'll
get to the sum in a minute. This season, because it's the Europa League, isn't it? Let's not kid ourselves. It is. It's Europa robust. If you was to sort of, with the players available, look at the midfield at the minute, what's your preference? Do you think that while you're getting a tune out Casemiro, he should be kept in the team? Do you feel like if Mainu, we don't know whether he's going to be fit anytime soon, but I think he's in training, maybe not quite training with the first team yet. Does Mainu come in? With the personnel you've got available at the minute, what do you think Amorim's best options are?
I'd very much like to see, although I like him as a sort of one of the wide centre halves at the moment. I think it suits him very nice. Depending on what you can get, because if you play him in midfield and you put more midfielders further up, it's possibly by necessity, because you haven't really got any dribblers that you're going to beat a man at all, like an Ahmad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing Mazraoui played in a 6 alongside Ugarte to give you a little bit of defensive stability, because I think he's such an intelligent footballer. He'd keep the ball well, he'd win loads of duels, but again, he's probably better suited to that than Mainu because of the defensive aspect of it, but he ain't perfect for that.
No, and you make a good point as well, because I've seen Mazraoui. I think he did it against City, where he carries the ball, and then he almost gets to a point where he goes, right, I shouldn't be doing this now. I'll give it to someone else. So he does have that in his locker, and you can see the ability he's got.
He's a really intelligent footballer. I think he makes fantastic decisions.
Yeah, he does. And I mean, at the minute, there isn't a perfect answer, is there? Like, we haven't got an obvious, this is what we need to do, this is going to work, because everything is slightly flawed. And I feel like that's what Amorim's got to deal with in a minute. You've got Casemiro. I mean, we saw it again against City. There's still definitely life in him, and he's had a decent little spell, but he's not. This isn't prime Casemiro.
No, I might take us off topic here, Jay.
It's not like you, Steve. Are we going to end up talking about Landman or Sailor Sheridan films?
I was thinking about players that we signed too late that would have been absolute cult heroes here. Can you imagine a 23-year-old Casemiro?
Oh, mate, don't.
What about a 23-year-old Cavani?
Cavani's.
Or Zlatan?
Like, mate, this is it. All these players, like, when it's funny, the amount. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'd have a 34-year-old Zlatan right now.
Here's one for you.
Honestly, I would. I think that'd be mint.
A player that we signed too late, Edwin van der Sar.
Yeah, I mean, that'd solve a lot of problems, wouldn't it? Nobody, I don't want to lay it on that. He's had enough criticism, but let's be honest, it's an issue. It's another problem that Ruben Amorim's got to assess.
The Stretford end are getting onto him in a big way as well. There's zero patience with him.
No. Gary Neville had a dig, didn't he, as well, about him rolling his foot over the ball and taking his time. And
that's what I think the Stretford end's losing patience.
Yeah, he's just holding on to it. And it's
but I think it's orders, because if you look at the tempo of the way we play, we didn't play at this tempo under Ten Hag. It was a bit more active, so I feel like it's how Amorim wants
I just think, I think Amorim's just like, look, just get this season out of the way, just get these games out of the way, honestly, just do what you've got to do to get through this 90 minutes, because we need to just start afresh in the summer, and I kind of get that. Looking ahead to the summer then, and excuse me, Windy Pops, I'm sure you've done about 1 million scout reports. You were doing scout reports on Victor Gyökeres when he was still at Coventry, I believe, but in terms of midfield, we don't have a lot of money. We know that. We're going to have to get a striker. I think that's a given. We can't not have a striker. And I sort of think you can't not have a midfielder, but you've got to sort of square that circle. Is there anyone in particular you think we should be going for? Is there a certain type of midfielder you think we need that's important?
The best way I could describe it is like a 23-year-old Pogba.
Yeah.
I'll explain to you why. Someone that's big, because I think this team's quite short.
People might scoff at that, but it's a good point because it matters. It matters so much. You need a bit of size.
Yeah, you need a bit of height.
Yeah.
So, by saying just a 23-year-old Pogba, basically it's like, find that archetype of player. What else does he got? Well, he's got range.
Yeah,
he's got a bit of flair.
Yeah.
He'll pull the trigger when he needs to. He'll drive the ball. He'll take it on the turn from the defence. That's what I'm looking for. Now, he's not 10 out of 10 defensively. He's not going to give you that. But he can play in that double pivot.
Yeah.
Without necessarily... You've got Ugarte next to him to be the sort of the dog in that, if you like. So, find me a 23-year-old Paul Pogba, that's not a world record fee, that can play alongside him. And that player will exist. I don't know who it is off the top of my head, but that sort of player that can get on the ball, that can spread it, that can drive it and dribble with it if need be through the centre of the park, that can chip in with an occasional goal. That's about 6'3". That'll do for me.
Yeah. No, I get your point, because it does look like we have to look at this midfield area, because I like Toby Collier, but is he going to be a first team starter for Manchester United next season? Probably not.
It's like people saying, did we make a mistake in selling Scott McTominay? And you're like, well, on one hand, and Alanga at the same time, probably not, because while they're probably better than what's playing at the moment, which I think is inarguable, they're also not the sort of player that's going to take you to the championship, to winning the well, maybe the championship. A championship, not the championship.
Yeah, you can tell people of a certain age use that phrase. No, I get it, and it's this whole thing as well. Like Scott McTominay did an interview the other day where he basically said he was misprofiled at United. He's more of a sort of an attacking player, I think he said, and as a sort of 10. And you think, right now, but when everyone's fit, we've probably got
would he have played over
there.
Bruno Fernandes in the 10 in a 4-2-3-1? No.
Yeah.
And our manager in the summer played a 4-2-3-1. Yeah. So your options are, we're losing a game from McTominay on, so you're getting 20 minutes every other week.
Yeah.
Or shut up, because Bruno never injured, so you're not going to play. Whereas now in Ruben Amorim's team, if it's Ruben Amorim has got him, and he's chipping in with the goals that he is, and he presses the way he does, and he's 6'3", he's not that player that we're looking for because he can't get on the ball or spread it. But there are attributes that Scott McTominay has got and that Alanga has got that you think, if those two were either side of anyone in our forward line at the moment, it'd probably look a little bit better. If you had those two either side of Xerxes at the moment, would it be different? Yes.
Yeah.
But was it wrong to sell them in the summer? No.
But we're into so many hypotheticals. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It's like, I think, this version of Alanga would have been mint in 2021's version of United under Ollie. But we don't have either of those things. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have got this vision of Elanga, but we don't have him at United. So it's almost a daft argument.
Dan James was shit, right?
Yeah, but he fitted in that.
Objectively shit. Objectively shit. But a guy's got like 20 goals and assists in the Championship this season. If you were scouting someone would be like,
he's
what about him?
Yeah, he looks all right. Yeah.
We've had him. Yeah. It was shit.
Unless it was at the Etihad, in which case he turned into prime Andrei Kanchelskis or something. Just quickly, on Mason Mount. We've seen him getting a few more minutes lately. I know it's sort of, a low bar. I'm not getting carried away.
It's it's on the floor.
Yeah, it is. Is he just... It's either one of the 2 10 positions for him, or that's it. Can you not see him fitting anywhere else in this system?
No, and again, he's little. Yeah. Like, he's a little dude. Like
Mason Mount?
Yeah.
He's not that little, is he?
He's not big. You wouldn't call him big,
Oh, no, you mean tall or height-wise or size? I thought he was... I don't know, actually, Mason Mount. I forget... Do you know what? I'm not trying to kick a guy when he's down, everything, but I always forget he's there at times. Do you know what I mean? It's like when he was coming on the other day, I thought, it's Mason Mount. Like, I want him to do well.
Dorgu needs a step ladder for stuff on the top of the fridge.
He's
like
small.
Ahmad.
Tiny, little. But Ahmad wins things in the air, which is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't like. He genuinely wins them against defenders who are like 6'3". You think, how's he done that?
Bruno, little.
He's Main, who's smallish, he's not as small as people think.
5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, but he's not big. Not in football, the football world. Unless you're 6'4", unless you're Joe Smith, you're not tall.
And it genuinely makes a big difference. Certainly the set plays. Like, you look at Ugarte, not very big.
No.
Casemiro's about 6'1" maybe.
But Casemiro is
he's great in the air.
He's elite at reading the ball,
the
fly of the
he's
ball.
excellent on set plays, but like, none of them are McTominay. Like, when you look, what we lost in McTominay and Elanga is 2 real physical players that have got excellent energy, excellent tenacity. They both played hard, and they both be excellent for Amorim's system right now. But Amorim wasn't the manager when we decided to let him go, so there's no point crying over milk that you spilt fucking last window.
This is true. This is why we need to stick with this manager as well, because what we'll do is, this manager has this system. We'll get players in for this system. And then, if he has a bit of a wobbly one, and if this time next year, if me and you were sat here talking about how we're relying on the Europa, well, not even in the Europa League next year, no matter what, if we were sat in the bottom half of the table and go, right, that's it, this experiment's failed, you can have another manager couldn't come in who's going to go, I don't want Manuel Ugarte, I don't
need 3 centre halves.
Yeah, I don't need Aiden Evan, I don't need whoever else he's brought in, get rid of all them, and we're back to the square one, like we were when Ollie took over from Mourinho, or Mourinho took over from Van Gaal. It was the same thing of like,
let's make sure we go a complete 180 in terms of our direction to make it as expensive as possible for us to adapt.
It was like, like when the Scousers went from Rodgers to Klopp, it wasn't a complete different style, different sea change. Obviously, there were some differences, but eventually they got there. Whereas with us, it's like we'll go, like you say, a pivot from one style of football and all these types of players to another one, and we need to stop all that. But hopefully it won't come to that, because hopefully we'll win the Europa League, we'll be in the Champions League next season, and then we'll start being back to Manchester United.
Do you know what? If we're in the Champions League season, we'll get fucking turned inside out.
I don't care, Steve. I'm going to milk the bit where we qualify for the Champions League when we win the Europa till we kick the first ball in the Champions League for all it's worth. Because last time we did that, right? Do you remember? We got into the Champions League, we had that great season on the 10 out, finishing third and winning the Carabao Cup and getting to the FA Cup final. And then as soon as the Champions League started, it was terrible. It was losing to Bayern, losing at home to Galatasaray.
It was really bad. It was proper shit.
I think it was like one win or something. We beat Copenhagen at home thanks to an Andre Onana last-minute penalty save. It was woeful, but this time it's going to be different. And I've never said that before about Manchester United. Steve, always a pleasure, never a chore. You know where to find him. Go and check out his channel. You'll see loads of scouting reports if you want to know which midfielders United should buy as well. You know where to find me. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. That's been Stephen Howson. I've been Jay Martin. This has been a quick look at United's midfield. Thanks for watching.